Bonjour, Kinamagian and Ireland Adishnikas, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's lesson, Chapter 10, Lesson 9, Hands-on Division with Unit Fractions. All right, let's begin our session by looking at our previous session's assignment. And during this session, we were looking at scaling. Long story short, if you take your whole number and multiply it by a fraction greater than 1, your product was greater than the original whole number. If you multiplied your whole number by a fraction that was less than 1, your product was less than the original whole number. So 4 times 1/7, 1/7 is less than 1, so it was less than. 12 times 2 and 5/6, 2 and 5/6 is greater than 1, so it's greater than 12. Less than, because 4/5 is less than 1, and that's the example of the explanation that'll work. More than, because 2 1/3 is greater than 1. Less than, 3/8 is less than 1. Sample answer here, 1/2 times 6 has a product less than 6. The other products are greater. So you can look and see some explanation of what we were multiplying by. This is the only one where you're multiplying by a fraction less than 1. Scaling was the vocabulary word that was found at the first page of the section. Let's take a moment to see what the assignment will be like today. And we have the division fraction tools here, and I will be modeling with those. I know there is a link on our Padlet, which is right here. This is linked in our Google Classroom, but the fraction strips are under the math if you want to use them. So we're going to note that 2 divided by 1/8 is going to give us a bigger number. And we'll talk about dividing fractions in detail with some different strategies down the road a little bit. But today we're going to use fraction tiles to divide. And you really should draw your models out. Okay, so there we go. That's where our homework will be. Our essential question: what strategies can be used to multiply and divide fractions? Well, today we're going to talk about modeling and using fraction strips. We're going to start right in the book today. And this is found on page 759. If you don't have it, you should pause the video, go get it, and then return. The purpose of making sure that you fill this in as we go is to provide you an artifact and also to make sure that you're engaged with the material. That artifact will be useful down the road. So let's look at our problem on 759. Right after, we note that there is a yellow highlighted word at the top. A unit fraction is a fraction with a numerator of 1. So 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, 1/billionth. Those are all unit fractions, has a 1 on the top. And it says, Remy has 2 gallons of lemonade. Well, lucky for Remy. She needs to divide the lemonade into quarter-gallon containers. How many quarter-gallon containers does she need? So we're going to find 2 divided by 1/4. Your first step, and you don't have to draw anything on this slide, represent the 2 gallons by placing 2 fraction tiles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. So I have it ready. And you can see that in your book at step 2, they have placed them side by side. And you need to place enough of the quarter fraction tiles below the 2 whole fractions to represent the same amount. So let's go get my quarters. This way. Now. I have 8. So that's good to know. And you'll notice that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there as well. And I see where I'm going to have to write it in. How many fraction tiles. Let's get a different color. 8. So 2 divided by a quarter is 8. You may start to see patterns before too long on this. And then there is a line under there. You'll need 8 containers because they like to make you write 8 multiple times. You'll notice a pattern that in this case, I ended up with 2 times 4 because really there's a way to remember it that when you divide, you multiply by the inverse. So instead of 2, we get, instead of 1/4, I would actually, dividing by 1/4 is the same as multiplying by 4/1, which gave us 8/1. It's 8. But this is the part here I would like you to make sure you write in. Don't have to draw my circles. These are kind of previews of my KFC method. Keep first, flip the second, change the sign from division to multiplication. You'll hear me talk about that a lot. So you should have 8, 8, and 8 written in. And you'll, just as a reminder, when I say I'm going to clear the screen, that gives you about 2 seconds before I do. If you need to pause the video to keep writing, you could do such then at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the drawings. Move forward through here. I did neglect on the previous spot to label the model with 1/4. So you should write in 1/4, 1/4 on all of those. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you about 45 seconds. Okay, let's move forward. All right, so let's try it. Now we're on the top of the next page, 760. It's always a good idea to look at the helpful hint first. 1/5 represents 1 out of the 5 tiles that would make a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and clear these right here. Find 1/5 divided by 2. What would you draw in here? Well, let's see on the next slide. You'd put 1/5, and then you got to find 2 that'll make it work. Well, 2 would make 1/5. Would 1/6? No. Think of common denominators. We have a 10. Try the tenths. Oh, sorry, that was 12s. My absolute apology. Let's get the tenths. Ooh, that looks like it matches. Let's see back here at the book. Since you're dividing by 2, you're dividing 1/5 into 2 equal groups. Right here. Find a fraction tile that will be the same size. When placed twice will be the same size as a fifth. And we just did that. And we placed, and I'm just going to write it here, the 1/10. Ta-da. 2 of them. Basic niche. And so 1/5 divided by 2 is 1/10. So if I take half of these, which is just the 1, it's 1/10. So go ahead and write that in before we talk about it. All right, let's move forward. When a whole number greater than 1 is divided by a unit fraction less than 1, the quotient is always greater than the dividend. Do you think that's true or false? Think about it for a couple seconds, and I'll reveal. Do, 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 do. Do 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 do. It's true. You're dividing the whole number into fractional groups. So the quotient is always greater than the dividend. And you can, so like if, let's get it here and clear it. A whole number, let's say 1. If I'm putting it into thirds, that's a unit fraction less than 1. My quotient is 3. So that's how it looks. Works out for you. True or false? When a unit fraction less than 1 is divided by a whole number greater than 1, quotient is greater than the dividend. Think about it, and then we'll reveal. Do 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 do. And you would be right if you said false. You're dividing a fraction into equal groups. So the quotient is always less than the dividend. So if you, let me go ahead and clear that one. If I had 1/4 and I was dividing it by 2, it would take me 2 of these 8s to fill it. 2 is greater than 1/4. So there we go. All right, your turn to practice. Use math tools. Now, you can use, you can go right to the Padlet. You could go right in the Google Classroom and get the fraction strip link out. That'll be in there for you. Or if you happen to have some hand ones, you could use it. But how many times will 1/3 go into 3 and 1/5 into 2? To figure this out, you're going to pause the video, you're going to draw your models, and then you're going to come up with an answer. And then we'll see how you did. You may go ahead and pause the video now. Welcome back. You can see the drawings are here now too. 3 whole ones, and they divided each one into thirds. So there's 3 in each row, which gave us 9. 2 whole ones divided into 1/5. So these 1/5s equal 1, 2 rows of them. There are 10 blocks, so our answer is 10. So notice whole number divided by the unit fraction gave us a whole number that was greater than the original. So let's go ahead and try these ones again. Same thing, draw your models to make sure you have it. Go ahead and pause the video. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 4 divided by 1/2, so I'll split each one into half. So now there's 8. 6, there's 6 in each row. And 3 rows gives you 18. You may also notice that what we're getting here with these unit fractions is kind of like multiplying the whole number times the denominator. Sometimes that'll work for you if you're using a unit fraction greater than 1. Otherwise, it's not going to necessarily work out for you, but in this case, it will. All right, so we got 4 of them here. Now we're dividing a unit fraction by a whole number. So you're going to find out which piece, and I'll model it here for you. What group of 4, so 4 of one of these will make a third? Which one would it be? You'll get model. And what I recommend is you multiply the denominator by that whole number. That's is a spot to start. And let's see if we can get it. See if that works. It's 3 times 4 is 12. It does. It's super. So I know 1/3 divided by 4 is going to be a 12. Yeezus. Let's go here. Go ahead and try numbers 8, 9, and 10. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. Let me pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. So we had 1/12 because 4 of them equal to a third. 1/6, 1/6, and 1/8. Notice our product, while our quotient is smaller than our dividend in every case. And notice my cheat kind of works. 3 times 2, 4 times 3, 2 times 3, 2 times 4. It won't automatically work if I'm dividing by a fraction, but when dividing by a whole number, that will give you a trick here. A place to start. All right, so I'm going to give you a chance to do some practice. You're going to use the fraction tiles. If you have some in front of you, you can use them. Otherwise, go ahead and use the digital form. You're going to need them to answer these ones. There are 7 total questions. If you're in physical classroom, you will turn this in via paper copy by turning it into the bin. If you're doing the digital form, there is a Google form posted. The other option, if you're at home, is you can take a picture of both sides, if the name's on both sides, and scan it or take a picture of it and send both sides to me via text or email. If you have further questions, please reach out to me at mirelandpsychchipschool.net. I'd be more than happy to help you. Have a minute, Gijigat, Minwa, Pamapi.